My Seven Chakras, episode 148.
In the short run, there are two types of people who live in darkness. Those who are desperate to emerge and those who are desperate to stay. When you finally realize that part of the reason you were chosen for this life was to shine your light for the first type, you'll stop worrying about what the second type thinks of you.
The seven chakras, swirling vortices of energy, positioned throughout our body from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. For thousands of years, this ancient wisdom has been passed on from master to disciple. What are the functions of these energy centers? And could these chakras help you unlock your destiny and find your true purpose? Welcome to My Seven Chakras. And now, your host, Aditya Jai Kumar.
What's up, Action Tribe? AJ here, founder and host of My Seven Chakras, and we are back once again on this powerful mission called The Human Revolution. This is the show where we dive deep into the mysteries of the ancient world and learn about amazing practices like Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, and yoga. And my focus is to provide you actionable steps that you can take today to begin your human revolution. Action Tribe, I may not have seen you, but I do know something about you. I know that you are busy taking action. I know that you are fearlessly overcoming challenges in your path. And I know that you are turning a new page in your life. So I want to do all I can to support you on your mission. So here's my challenge to you today. That's right. I'm talking to you, the person listening to this episode this very moment. If you've been silent so far, it's now your turn to take action and reach out to me. My question to you, what is that one goal that you want to achieve? I repeat, what is that one goal that you really want to achieve? As always, my email is aj@my7chakras.com. That's aj@my7chakras.com. You can always return to this episode after you send that email. So do it right now and let's connect. All right, are you done? Did you hit send? Awesome. In that case, we are now ready to welcome our featured guest for today, Bethany Williamson. So Bethany, are you ready to inspire?
I am.
That's awesome. So Bethany is a former elementary educator with a master's in education and a Bastyr Trained Aroma Therapist. She is passionate about empowering families to take a natural approach to healing in their homes, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. She does this by educating people about the safe and effective use of essential oils. So Bethany, before we move on, tell Action Tribe a little more about your background.
Well, as you had said, I'm a former educator. I used to teach in elementary school, and I'm passionate about literacy, and I'm passionate about alternative holistic health, and I am passionate about empowering people to look within themselves for the answers and for the cures, and to look within nature for the answers and the cures.
That's beautiful. So this is a topic that we're going to discuss today, which I'm really passionate about. So I personally want to get some insights and some tips on how I can use essential oils at my home in a better way for enhancing the quality of my mind, body, and spirit. But before that, like we do at the beginning of every episode, let's bask in some inspiration. What is your favorite inspirational quote, and how do you apply that quote in your life?
Well, this quote is a little unusual. It comes from a coach that I worked with. She's a being coach, and she's a follower of Abraham Hicks. And one morning, she woke up and said the universe gave her this. And I think the universe gave it to her to give to me personally, but I'll read it to you. In the short run, there are two types of people who live in darkness. Those who are desperate to emerge and those who are desperate to stay. When you finally realize that part of the reason you were chosen for this life was to shine your light for the first type, you'll stop worrying about what the second type thinks of you. And what this does for me, it gives me a freedom to focus on those that are ready to receive, and it releases me from worrying about and trying to convince those who aren't ready to receive. So it helps me focus my light where it'll do the most effective use.
Love that. So this actually is really a question to Action Tribe and the listeners of our show. The question is, are you one of those who is desperate to stay, or are you someone who is desperate to emerge? Are you focused on what your vision is and the actions that you can take towards transforming your life, or are you focused on worrying about what the other type of people are going to think about you when you make that decision to change. Thanks a lot for reading out to us this amazing quote and reminding us of this very profound wisdom in life. And with that, let's dive right into the main portion of our episode. So Bethany, what exactly is aromatherapy?
Aromatherapy is the use of essential oils to either for emotional, physical, or spiritual health. Essential oils are either steam distilled or cold pressed, so they're very powerful.
Sure.
And they should be approached with respect at their power. And aromatherapy it can do powerful things for you emotionally and spiritually.
So you spoke about the fact that they're very powerful. They're cold pressed in most cases, and they must be approached with respect. So my question is, how do you really use essential oils?
Well, there's several ways to use them, but the most effective way is through inhalation. And you can do this through a cool mist diffuser or just right out of the bottle. And the reason why this is one of the most effective ways to use essential oils is because when you inhale them, they go up through your olfactory bulb into your amygdala. And your amygdala is known as the seat of your emotions. And so the fastest way to affect mood is through the sense of smell. And it is also the only place in your body that's open to your central nervous system. So essential oils, when you inhale them, have the ability to calm the central nervous system. And a good example of this is, say you're having a bad day and you come home and you smell like fresh baked cookies or something that reminds you of when you were, a child and your mother, and all these memories come flooding back, and all of a sudden you just kind of relax as you remember these things.
Yeah.
And so the sense of smell is very powerful.
That's amazing. So you spoke about two main ways of using it. One is through a cold mist diffuser, which I think is something that I have. And then you said right off the bottle. The beauty is that when you use essential oils, the scent goes right into your amygdala and affects your sense of smell. And once that happens, it brings back those wonderful emotions and memories and that nostalgia of a day long gone by. And that leads to a sense of calm. Is that correct?
That's correct. And each essential oil has different chemical components. And so if it's high in esters are calming. And so personally, when I am stressed, I just pick up a bottle of Cape chamomile out of South Africa and smell it, and I am calm instantly. It is amazing how fast they work.
Yeah, that was one of my questions actually, which beautifully ties into what you just said. There are so many types of essential oils: peppermint, tea tree, lavender, eucalyptus, lemongrass, just to name a few. How do you go about deciding when to use a specific type of oil? If you could elaborate on that a bit.
Oh, yes, that's a really good question. And there are so many essential oils out there to use. There's certain oils that will lift your mood. All of your citrus oils, orange, tangerine, lemon, lime, they're mood lifters. I diffuse orange. My kids call it the happy oil because when they're unhappy, they smell it. Instantly, their mood is lifted. So if you need mood lifting, go to your citrus oils. If you need grounding and balancing, and my daughter struggles with anxiety, you go to your tree oils like frankincense and cypress and spruce. All of the tree oils are very grounding and very balancing if you're feeling like off balance. Then, it depends on if you're sad. There's certain oils you can smell that will, help with the grief or help with peace. In fact, there's a line of oils that I use. One's console, one's cheer, motivate, passion, forgive, peace. And those are blends of oils that are put together. So it's a challenge to find, if you don't know, about oils, which oils to use for what. But there's some great resources out there as well. Daniel McDonald has written a wonderful book, Emotions and Essential Oils. And you can get it on Amazon, and he goes through each oil and what it'll do for you emotionally.
So I just love your response. You spoke about citrus oils, which are basically mood lifters and is something that has helped your family as well. You spoke about oils which help in grounding and balancing. Those are the tree oils,
yes.
Cypress, spruce, and frankincense. And then you spoke about there are certain blends of oils which help with sadness or grief and just to create a sense of peace in and around the home. And you pointed us to the book, of course, which we will have in the show notes. Now, what are some of the benefits that you've experienced personally from using essential oils?
Well, there are I'm sorry, I'm laughing because there's so many. With my son, he struggles with focus issues. And so I created a blend for him that has a lot of tree oils in it and has oils. There are some oils that can pass the blood-brain barrier and can help with focus. And so that has been huge for us. There's also oils that another blend I put together for my son. He has impulse issues that helps him relax and not to be so impulsive. It's just the miracles there. I've used them when we are sick. I immediately start applying essential oils to the bottom of my kids' feet when they're sick. And, essential oils can pass the cell membrane wall, and that's where the viruses live. Now, I need to be clear that essential oils do not kill viruses, but what they do is they shorten the life of it because the virus comes after the oil and it wears the virus out. So my kids still get sick, but they're sick 1 or 2 days as opposed to a week. So we've seen that. I clean with essential oils. You can cook with essential oils. You can do just about anything with them.
Interesting. Now, many of our listeners have a hard time getting quality sleep at night. So is there a specific type of oil that can help our listeners improve their sleep naturally?
That's huge. That is huge. I just did a paper on my website on this because I struggled with sleep issues as well. It depends on what your struggle is.
Sure.
If you are struggling with shutting your mind off at night, your mind just races, or you wake up in the middle of the night and your mind's going, vetiver is great for that. Vetiver is a stinky oil. It's a root oil, but I put it in a roller bottle with a carrier oil, and it's important to note that if you're going to use oils topically, you always use a carrier oil with it. And I roll it on the back of my neck, and that helps shut off my monkey. I call it the monkey mind, so I can sleep. Melissa is another wonderful oil. It is also called lemon balm, and you'll see that in a lot of nighty-night teas as well. Melissa helps with your central nervous system. It helps calm it down. It helps you calm and relax so you can fall asleep. A couple of oils that have helped my kids is lavender, which is known for relaxing, and cedarwood. Cedarwood helps calm the central nervous system, and cedarwood also helps the airways, while you're sleeping and breathing. And so you diffusing lavender and cedarwood at night will help you fall asleep and help you stay asleep. And sometimes if I'm feeling anxious, I'll add maybe a couple drops of Melissa to that as well.
Love that. I can imagine as we speak, listeners wanting to try out essential oils for the very first time. So what would you advise a listener to keep in mind when purchasing essential oils and the diffuser that you spoke about? Okay,
well, let's start with the diffuser.
Sure.
You can go to Amazon and get a diffuser. You can spend $30 or you can spend $500. And so I always tell people to get a cool mist diffuser and don't buy an expensive one. Start off with the cheaper ones will last up to a year. But when you're just starting out and trying these out, you might want one in every room. And so it's a smaller investment to do.
Okay.
And there's a lot. I have several on my website, which I did a blog post on different diffusers and what to look for in a diffuser. And as far as oils go, there are so many companies out there selling essential oils, and a lot of them say pure. Some of them say pure therapeutic grade, and I don't know what it's like in Canada, but in the United States, the FDA does not regulate essential oils.
Sure.
So I could sell an oil and have it be 100% synthetic, and it's not pure. So it's very important to do your research with essential oils. And if people want to know, I have 3 or 4 great resources of places that I've vetted that I know sell quality oils at reasonable prices, and you can get a wide variety there. And I always also tell people, start with your basic 4 oils: lemon, lavender, peppermint, and melaleuca. And then you can add on from there. I see people buying huge kits of oils, and then they're overwhelmed. And when you're starting off, start with those 4 basics, because those do so many things. And then you can add as you see a need.
So you spoke about lemon, lavender, and peppermint, which I have. I've not heard about laveluca. Is it laveluca?
I'm sorry. It's melaleuca. It's also called tea tree.
Tea tree. Okay, I have tea tree. Sorry. So I just love asking this next question. How did you first enter the world of essential oils? What's the story behind that?
Well, it's interesting. Back in the late 90s, when I was teaching 1st and 2nd grade, I would just diffuse oils in my classroom. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought they smelled good, and I'd always had an interest in them. And then when my children came along, I kind of just moved away from it until my son, when he was in 4th grade, his teacher said he had ADD. And the pediatrician wanted to put him on focus drugs. And I knew in my heart there was another way. I knew this wasn't the right path. And I know some people use them, and that's fine. But I just knew for us that was not the right choice. So I started investigating. I went to our naturopath, Chinese medicine, a whole list of other things. And in the midst of all this time, I attended a class on essential oils. And in that class, I learned how some oils can pass the blood-brain barrier and actually help with focus. And so I I bought a focus blend, and started using it on my son, and he said immediately he could tell the difference. And his teacher thought he was on drugs all year long, and he wasn't. I also need to know, we cleaned up his gut, because the gut is so important, your stomach. We cleaned up his stomach by what he ate and nutrients, and that helped as well. And that kind of spurred me on. I thought, there's something here. I need to know more. I want to help other people. And so I enrolled at Bastyr Natural Health College here in the Seattle area in their aromatherapy program. And that's how I got started.
That is awesome. So Action Tribe, just in case you haven't tried out essential oils before this, I would highly recommend that you do so, because it's so easy to try it out, right? You don't have to learn a lot about it. As we've shared, it's available on Amazon. You can buy a cold mist diffuser, and you can buy a basic set of essential oils. You don't need to get all 200 of them, but you can just start with the basics and then experiment and learn more about it as you go. I have a essential oil system at my home, and the day I started, my home was really transformed because, as Bethany explained, it has to do with the mind-body connection. As soon as you start the essential oil diffuser, it spreads out through your home. The smell goes into your brain, and it sort of stimulates certain emotions, positive emotions that really change the way you feel and how your day goes as well. So imagine yourself at your home, starting a diffuser early in the morning, and how your family would feel and how that would play out for the rest of the day. So try it out and let me know how it goes. So Bethany, based on the wisdom that you shared today, is there a simple yet effective essential oil health tip that you can share with our listeners?
Yes, I think the main thing I want to say about that is to, as I said before, approach them with respect. They are powerful. Never leave them where a young child can get a hold of them. And always use carrier oil when applying them topically. And one drop of peppermint is equal to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So you don't need a lot. Less is more. And I would start with that kit I told you about. Start diffusing lemon. Lemon is an antiseptic. It'll clean the air in your house. So you can start diffusing that. It'll just make it smell fresh.
Action Tribe, to access the show notes for today's episode, visit my7chakras.com/148. That's my7chakras.com/148. The bricks are there for a reason. The bricks are not there to keep us out. The bricks are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. This is an amazing quote by Randy Pausch. Action taker, your life is defined not by the obstacles you face, but by the meaning that you give them. Most people in life will look at a wall and find reasons why they're not lucky enough, or not privileged enough, or not smart enough to be on the other side of the wall, but not you. You don't waste time finding reasons why things won't happen. You take action. You ask questions, you ask people, you read books, and like today, you're listening to podcasts and finding a way to cross that wall. So in a way, the wall is there to help you evolve to the next level of your consciousness and find your life's true calling. So Bethany, talk to us about a challenge that you experienced in your life. Tell us how you encountered that obstacle in the first place, and then what did you do to overcome that challenge?
That's a great question. I would think the biggest challenge I have faced in the past year has been my health. Last summer, I was diagnosed with severe adrenal fatigue, and that was because I was living in my head and I was going 100 miles an hour, and my body had been telling me for a long time, stop, take care of me, stop, take care of me, and I wasn't listening. And so with severe adrenal fatigue, if you're familiar with that, you really don't have a choice. Your energy's gone, and you need to take care of yourself. And so it changed my life. I started practicing yoga. I enrolled with a coach with HeartMath. I don't know if you're familiar with HeartMath, but it's a program to help you connect your head to your heart and to live from your heart instead of your head. And I started doing a morning quiet time every day, which for some reason, if I miss it, it just throws my whole day off. It's the center of my day. It's what keeps me centered. And I started listening to myself and listening to my body. I, for so long, had been listening to others and what others said you should do. And instead, I started listening to my own intuition and into my body. And I began to realize that the wisdom that I need for my life is all inside me. I just need to be quiet and still and listen for it. And it's been a long journey through adrenal fatigue, but with essential oils and with herbs and taking care of myself, I'm coming out of it, and I'm coming out of it a new person.
Wonderful. I think that's really inspiring. For our listeners, in just one sentence, what is that one major life lesson that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Well, I would think the major life lesson is to listen to yourself first. So many times we go to others first and get advice and question. And I think that we need to sit down and be quiet with ourselves and ask ourselves that question and sit with it. I'm amazed at how many times the answer comes and it's the perfect answer for you.
So thanks a lot for sharing this story with us. You mentioned that the biggest challenge so far has been the severe adrenal fatigue that you've been facing. Your body, as you mentioned, had been sending you signs to stop, but you did not respond, and you felt an overall drain of your energy. But you didn't stop right there. You took actions to overcome that challenge. You took yoga lessons. You spent some quiet time each morning to really embrace that silence within yourself and learn how to heed to the nudges and signs that your body was sending you. You learned heart math to connect with your heart in a deeper way. And you started developing your intuition by listening to your body. And I think that's really inspiring. You mentioned towards the very end that even though you haven't completely overcome that challenge, you are on your way, and I've seen a dramatic improvement in the situation.
Yes.
So thanks a lot for sharing this really inspiring story with us. And I think a lot of our listeners would be able to relate in that challenges happen to all of us. But if we take steps day by day, month by month, we will definitely be on our way to a transformation. Action takers, visualization is going to play a key role in your achieving your vision. And for visualizing, you need to tap into your imagination. But along with visualizing, it's important to remain open to whatever the universe sends your way. Sometimes what may seem like a lost opportunity may actually pave the way for an even larger but slightly delayed opportunity. So don't lose faith, and let's learn from someone who relied on her mindset more than her eyesight. Helen Keller, who once so eloquently put, "When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has opened for us." So Bethany, at this point in your life, what is your life's calling?
Well, I think my life's calling is evolving. Right now, what my life's calling is to educate people on the safe and effective use of essential oils. There are so many oils out there and so many people using them and using them incorrectly and getting hurt. And so education is my calling for right now. But I'm also have a real heart for it. I'm working with families living with neurological differences. And we are using essential oils to help manage the moods and emotions and side effects that come along with neurological differences. And that just warms my heart. I also would love to be able to change our school system. That's a huge one. But I know that someday I will be on that platform, and I will be helping to change so that our children are educated not just mentally, but emotionally and spiritually, and that they go to school as whole bodies and not just as a head. And so, like I said, I think my calling is evolving, but for right now, it's education of essential oils.
That's amazing. Now, as you look back at your life, as you look back at the memories that you've had, was there ever a defining moment that really transformed you?
Yes. When I was 23, I was in school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was at a New Year's Eve party, and there was a gentleman there, and he was, for some reason, I don't know why, we were sitting around, and he was telling where he thought each one of us would be in 10 years. And he looked at me and he said, "You will be an elementary educator." And I thought, that was not even on my radar. But 10 years to the day, I was sitting at my first interview for teaching in elementary education. And so I knew from that moment on that my calling was for education and for families and children.
Well, thanks a lot for sharing. Sometimes you don't really know the role that people play in your life. And as you look back, you sort of remark at that coincidence or just an incident, right? I don't know how can you put that, but it definitely must have left an impact in your life as you sort of shared with us today. And with that, we've arrived at the very last round for today, the wisdom round. Are you ready?
Yes.
So let's begin with the first question. Out of all the people who have advised you and shared wisdom, what is the best advice that someone's ever given you?
I would have to go back to the quote that I shared. that has made such an impact on my life in the last 3 years. And I have it posted in my office, and I look at it every day, and it has just guided me in so many ways. So it's that quote about the people who living in the darkness, those who want to get out and those who don't. And my role is to help those, to shine a light for those who want to get out of the darkness.
So name a personal habit that keeps you strong.
My morning quiet time, journaling, morning pages, that kind of thing.
So very much in tune with what you just said. What is your morning routine like?
Well, I have 2 young children. The first thing we do is we get them up and we get them to school. And my husband takes the kids to school several days a week so that I can do yoga. And on the days that I don't do yoga, I take them to school. And then the next thing is I immediately, no matter what time it is that I get home from dropping them off, I'm doing my quiet time. I'm journaling. I'm doing morning pages. I'm reading scriptures, inspirational books. I'm sitting and breathing and just trying to listen to myself.
So name a book that you'd like to encourage our listeners to try today.
Well, this book is by a Canadian woman. You probably heard of her, Danielle Laporte, and she wrote Fire Starter Sessions. And I read this book, and it's a workbook in 2012, and I just did again last fall, and I could see how much I had changed, and it was so relevant still. 3 years later, the new insights I got from it. It's an incredible book about, what is your fire and how do you get started with it.
Action Tribe, to access today's show notes, visit my7chakras.com/148. That's my7chakras.com/148. So Bethany, thanks a lot for sharing your advice and your wisdom with us about essential oils, about aromatherapy, and how all of that can help our health, and not just us, but those around us as well, our families and our communities around us. Before you go, tell us one thing that you are grateful for, and tell us the best way we can find you online.
One thing I'm grateful for is my family. I think it all boils down to your family, whether it's a genetic family or those that you call your family. And I'm just really grateful for them. And the way you can find me is I have a website, www.squarepegsroundworld.com. And I have lots of resources on there, which you can access for free. And as a gift for all of your listeners, you can go to squarepegsroundworld.com/chakras. And I have a handout there on the 7 chakras and a list with each chakra of essential oils that you can use that can help with each chakra.
So thanks a lot, Bethany. Action Tribe, in order to take the next step and learn more about how you can use essential oils to really balance your chakras, then you need to go to squarepegsroundworld.com/chakras. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. So Bethany, thank you so much for coming on our show today, talking to us about aromatherapy, essential oils, and how to select the oils based on what benefit you want from that, and giving us advice overall in choosing the essential oils as well as the diffuser that you spoke about, and taking us one step closer to a human revolution.
You are welcome. Thank you.
You were listening to My 7 Chakras. Go to chakras.com. Download your free gift, get inspired, and take action. Transform your life today.